This is Undergroundopolis.
Hello, friends, family, fiends of Undergroundopolis. Here we are again. If you haven't joined the Fiends of Undergroundopolis group, please do on Facebook. Please do so. And it's just a little discussion group. So far, I've kept all the spam out. And if you post your events in there, because if you post your events in there, I will talk about them on here. Now, I've only got 2 events to talk about because you guys are slacking. So this week, I'll just talk about August 17th at the Fish Tank in Lexington, All Saints Spade, Smothered and Bush, which is an all-female Bush tribute band, and it's Stephanie's birthday, their fiddle player, with Jesse and the Hog Brothers. Same night in Louisville, 21st in Germantown, my second home, Undergroundopolis presents The Ruckus with Kenny Moon in ground control and Dave Wilson. Dave Wilson was in a band for a long time called Powerglide that played all around Louisville, and he's going to do a little solo set that night. And Kenny Moon in ground control just kind of bring the party every time I've seen them. They brought a good crowd out. They're really cool guys. So, and it's going to be the first Ruckus that I'm not going to be at. Just heads up, it'll probably be better. my buddy and two-time guest on this show, Mr. Buckshot George, will be emceeing that event that night. Oh yeah, he's going to interview the bands for me because I'm going to be out of town. He's going to get a little interview and some live footage of their show and get it back to me, and we're gonna make a whole episode out of it. And it's my first time to have a guest host. I'm really excited. I'm really glad it's Jason because he's really good at talking. He's really good at the interview thing. Even though he doesn't know it. He used to, when he would host open mic events, he would go live and talk to different people, and it's like, dude, you're really good at it. So he'll make a fantastic episode. I'm really excited. I'm usually always at the Ruckus because it's my event, but this time I got to be out of town. All right, enough of my gabbing. My guest tonight, who has also been on the show before, this band, Bastard Sons of the Judas Goat, Mr. Chuck Nasty, but he's on here for a different reason tonight. He is on here to promote his new book, parentheses S books. Tell us about it, Mr. Chuck Nasty.
Well, first off, thanks for having me back on. And yeah, last time I was here with Bastard Sons. So my novella that I have out, it's called Thirsty, with a question mark, as in thirsty. It's an extreme novel, extreme horror novel, about, well, the idea of a lone soda machine out in the middle of nowhere, and you get thirsty, you go to it, and you push certain buttons, and those certain buttons will choose how you die. If you think that you're going to get a grape soda, you might get an alcohol, from the top of the thing and split you in two. But it's all part of a bigger scheme of things. But there's a lot of I always have to put the warning there. There's no warning on the book, but there, like I said, it's extreme. So there's a lot of triggering things, maybe, possibly. Actually, I know there are. But it's also kind of it's also considered splatterpunk. So there's a little bit of, if you really get fucked up humor, I guess is the way to put it. But it's also the first of a trilogy that I'm doing. That actually, so you get like a little bit of the story now, and then, a few months time, you'll get the second part of it, but it's just a brutal idea that actually there actually is nonfiction in this book. There really was a lone soda machine out in the middle of the woods. My actually told me all about it, and that's how I got the idea for the story. that there was this, little that they were driving out in the middle of nowhere. They don't know where they were at, and they came across this soda machine, little old raggedy, soda machine, and it was kind of creepy, But there was like some guy that had it all. He had it all attached to his like trailer or something, and he was, yeah. And I was like, man, that's just a creepy thought. What if there was a soda idea that your demise is one push away, and it's kind of interesting. It's actually really fun to write too. But
I bet.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. I guess the anthology that's out too. I guess.
Okay,
yeah. So, Thursday for, I guess about. It's been pretty well. I've gotten mainly good reviews. People are pretty curious about how it's going to end up, and so it's doing pretty good. And the other day, an anthology that called Sludge with Stuart Bray, who are fellow writers in the extreme world. Stuart has tons of books out. He just got finished writing a sequel to his book, and he's got one called The Ballad of Harley Head, amongst many others. He's a very, very extreme writer, but it was an honor to be a part of this with him and Jason Nickey, who they've been like kind of like a team before. To be able to be asked to be a part of this is pretty much, but it's basically 5 stories that are vomit inducing, completely disgusting. Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll read you the titles off of all the stories. It starts off with What Happened to River by Stuart Bray. Next, you have My Story, Worm. Then you have one of Jason's stories called It's in the Shed. You have my second story of the anthology called Toxic Mouth. And then you have Jason ending the anthology with Heavy Flow. And I got my copy in yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And I went ahead and read through it. I hadn't even read their stories until I got it in. I'm more of a paper man. I found,
Yeah.
But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just better that way. It's the old school feeling. I mean, I had a Kindle or something like like a tablet that may be different, but I'm still old school paperbacks. But yeah, you can get those on Amazon in paperback form or in ebook. So yeah, if you're into extreme, messed up, disgusting stories, by all means, please those out. I myself and the rest of the guys appreciate the hell out of it. I also have to give a shout out to because Jason Nickey is also the one that he was a second person to go over some things and format and stuff for Thirsty to come out. And Ashley Fox, who she's the one the main one that proofread the book and all that too. So I gotta give a shout to them as well. And if it wasn't for Stuart, as I was saying a second ago, I wouldn't even be having stuff out right now. He's helped me a lot, and he's shown me the ropes in the kind of the underground extreme horror literature community. Splatterpunk community, and I couldn't be any more thankful than I am, because it's kind of been a dream come true to actually have my own books out.
Yeah. What was Stuart's name again?
What was it?
What was Stuart's name again?
Stuart Bray.
Bray, Bray.
Yeah. And his stuff can be found on Amazon also.
And Jason Nickey, if you're listening to this, give me a shout. come be on the show, talk about your stories. But here I am poaching. I haven't done any poaching in a while.
Hey, there you
But
go. No, that's fun.
but
Hey,
I
I'll
want to hear.
definitely mention it to him.
Yeah, would you please?
I would.
I want to hear about Dick Worm. I really want to hear about that.
Okay, yeah. Well,
That sounds great.
Dick Worm. I gotta say, when it comes to short stories, the two that are in Sludge are two of my favorites that I've written in recent times. Dick Worm there's actually another one out called Dick Worms, and it's kind of funny is if you get the paperback, on the back of it it says Dick Worms, and the inside it says Dick Worm. There was a little because I wrote Dick Worms first, and I didn't feel happy enough with it, so I went back and had a totally different direction to go with. But Dick Worm is the story of basically, it's got a good moral to it. You know, always wear rubber. Be careful when you're, when you're meeting somebody on them Tinder websites. Because you never know what's lurking inside. Because in this guy's situation, he learns a really hard lesson about sex and being getting on them sites and just finding them strangers, chasing that tail. I sound like an old man right now, but basically it's his journey into betrayal. And this is like all within like 20 pages. Okay. Like this guy learns what betrayal is. He learns what would be considered worse than an STD. He learns all these lessons, and it's all a little too late. And I don't give away too much, but I was really proud about this one, the most because when talking about certain parts of the body on the inside and all that stuff, like I made sure that I spelled things correctly and worded things right when it comes down to body parts and things of that nature. And I don't know, I took a little bit more time on it, and I thought it read a little better. It is one that definitely somebody did on the book, and I was talking about all the stories, and said that Dick Worm made her itch when she was reading it, and that wasn't really the reaction I would expect, but I can understand it completely. But it's because honestly, I've never written a story before where I've never written scenes before in a story that had me kind of like I had to take a minute because it was hurting me imagining this thing inside this guy's dick that because basically what is it looks like a worm, but it's a little gray, like little gray and little green. Got these like spikes all around its body, like little thorns, like from like a rose bush or something. And it goes in and just in the front of its mouth is kind of flattened, like the front of its body is flattened, but there's all these like really sharp, little tiny sharp razor teeth that basically it gets in during sexual and does horrible things to the inside of your body. And it's also in a way kind of a tribute to one of my favorite authors, who's a big reason why I got back into writing the last few years, is an author who everybody in the extreme splatterpunk world knows, named Edward Lee. And he's known for that kind of weird creatures and sexual fucked upness. So but I'm incredibly proud of that one. It's a fun little story. Like I said, I went back and reread all this, even my own, which I very rarely do. But it's kind of cool to be able to read it in a paperback form. And yeah,
sounds like a paperback.
Yeah, it looks cool too. Both Thirsty and Sludge have really cool covers. And Sludge, it it just has this really cool kind of faded dark of like a gas mask, which it kind of fits perfectly.
Who did the artwork?
The covers for both books were from Stewart. I think Stewart did the Sludge cover also. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he loves doing that shit. If I'm telling him about a new book I'm working on or something, he immediately like shoots me cover ideas. Like it's cool because that's actually kind of how the cover of Third about. He was sending me different ideas. He sent me the one to be in it, and the cover of it is so weird because it doesn't. It's not actually what I describe the soda machine looking like in the book. More dark. It looks more sinister. It looks cool. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, he just kind of sent that one to me, and I was like, all right, man, cool. And he actually the next novella that I'll have out in a few months. I haven't even finished writing. He's already got my cover for me and everything for it. Because I guess I probably should. How that is a book that was originally supposed to be my first release, but it's my novel. It's like 300 some pages, and it's had some pushback. It's coming out either at the end of this month or September 1st. So that one will be out. That'll be the next thing that comes out, and I'm super happy about that because I wrote it 8 years ago and it's finally coming out. So it's kind of a dream.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, what about Toxic Mouth?
Toxic Mouth is a story of a young couple hiking through the hills of Kentucky, and they end up in this really weird that they happen to stumble upon. And while they're down there, they start fooling around as you know one is to do, and all of a sudden there's mutated humanoids that are lurking around, and I won't give too much away, but yes, the boyfriend gets it in the ass. And that's all I'm going to say on that. And then I'll read that. The woman has to out of this cave because so it's yeah.
Everybody's getting in the ass in this.
Actually,
it's a pretty story, but
it was a fun one to write. It really was. I kind of it's got humor in it too. Like even in most of the shit that I write, there's humor in it. There's some things it's like you don't have to take it too seriously. Like no matter how disgusting, morbid, or fucked up it may be, don't always see it as completely serious. Like there's gonna be that ridiculousness to it. Like Thirsty's a ridiculous story, but it's a fun one. Like I'm very proud of it. It was something that I thought of being told the story that I did, and then the whole thing popped in my head while writing it, and it was a fun one. You know, you can't take everything. You can't always be so serious about stuff. You know, and Toxic Mouth has got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's got kind of a Motel Hell, Texas Chainsaw Massacre photos. You know, like kind of, it's got kind of that feel to it. Like when I was writing it, that was kind of on my mind. You know, any of those bad movies, you know, that you know,
like that.
Go ahead.
Which
that's always fun. That's always really fun to write. Is you know,
I mean,
everything like.
Huh? I thought I lost you for a second.
Repeat okay, can you hear me now?
I'll edit it. Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just saying, it's when it comes to writing stuff that takes backwoods, and stuff like that. It's kind of fun to write about because, being from Kentucky, there's always stories, in every town that you're in. There's always something like messed up. And, plus it's like when I write place in the South, which is most of the time, I just imagine people I know.
That is all our time we have for now. Thank you for listening to Undergroundopolis. Remember, we do this every Wednesday night, bringing you new and exciting artists every week. Be sure to hit up their websites and social media and stream or download their music. If you like this show, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, any streaming platform, and leave us a review as well. I'm your host, Rob Lyon, signing off.